Alright, today we're going to be talking about real numbers and how to classify real numbers. So in this lesson it's going to be a lot of vocabulary and a lot of um, organizing of what type of number is what. So in order to help us organize it, we actually have a real number target. And in this target, it kind of breaks down how each number is classified and how. So we have two main categories in real numbers. We have rational numbers and we have irrational numbers. Irrational numbers are kind of on their own. That's why it's the base of our target. Whereas rational numbers include integers, whole numbers, and natural numbers. All right, so we are going to start with the smallest and work our way out. So the first um, the first type of number we're going to talk about are natural numbers. Natural numbers are the positive counting numbers excluding zero, okay? You do not include zero. So they're just numbers like 617, 3, 1, 2, things like that. All right? So going back to our real one, so to our target, um, that is natural numbers. So that is the smallest category. Then we have whole numbers. Whole numbers are positive counting numbers including zero. So those are numbers like 2, 99, 23, 0. All right? And as you notice, a lot of these numbers are numbers that could also be classified as natural numbers. All right? The only difference here is that whole numbers include zero, whereas natural numbers did not. All right, so then we're working our way further out in our target. We now have integers. And integers are positive and negative whole numbers, including zero, So in this case, we have 1, -1, 0, -3. All right, just like with the whole numbers and natural numbers, 1, 2, and 3 could be classified as both natural numbers, whole numbers, and integers. All right, and our last big category in our target are rational numbers. And rational numbers include fractions, regular counting numbers, negative numbers, terminating decimals, and repeating decimals. And what I mean by terminating decimals are decimals that are like 2/10, 0.2. And by repeating decimals, I am talking about things like 0.33 with bar over the top, okay? And those are called rational numbers. All right, so that all of those four categories, the natural numbers, the whole numbers, the integers, and the rational numbers, all go under um, the first subcategory. The category that's out on its own are the irrational numbers. And an irrational number is a number whose decimal part goes on forever and ever without repeating. So the most obvious irrational number is pi. As we know, it goes on and on and on forever. It does not repeat. Another example is a number that you have not learned about yet, and it's e. Um, you will be going over it later on in Algebra 2 and things like that. If you type in the square root of 6 into your calculator, you'll notice that it either does not work or it just keeps going and going and going, and there really is no end. All right, so that is where irrational numbers come into place. All right, so as we go through, we can kind of categorize all of these just for some practice. So we have pi is an irrational number. We just talked about the square root of 6 is an irrational number. All right. 0. 0 is not a natural number, but it is a whole number. All right, and so on and so forth. So we could put 1 in the natural category. We could put 3 in the natural category. All right, we could put -2 in the integers. We can put 13 in the natural numbers. 23, 36. All right, and the reason I'm putting them in the smallest is because since they're natural numbers, they're also whole numbers and things like that. Okay, so that concludes our very short explanation on what real numbers, the categories of real numbers are.